Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am your girl Wanda Godsbratt,
PurpleQuartzAwaken.
and we are just two sister girlfriends, more like sisters than girlfriends.
Yes.
We have been sisters since 1984. We went to high school together, and time, space, nor distance has
Has kept us apart. We still the same. We still, even if we haven't spoken from time to time, dealing with life. When we get back together, everything clicks. It's like
no time has
back
passed
in 10th grade,
whatsoever.
back in 11th grade. So I'm thankful for that.
I'm thankful for her.
Mhm.
We are just coming and we're just talking about life and living and trials and tribulations and
Yeah.
overcoming it all. Despite it all, through it all, we are still here.
Amen. Amen. And we all of us go through good times and bad times. And so I think it's not just the two of us, but we've been discussing with people. A lot of people have been dealing with depression and anxiety. And I know that, from time to time, I've been dealing with that. God's grass been dealing with that. And so one thing that's important is to know that you are not alone. And
You are
you're not
not
alone, right? You're
alone.
not. So
I am here with you. I'm sorry.
we're gonna let her finish singing, and then we're gonna get back to the song. We're gonna get back to what we're trying to talk about. But look, you're
Life
not
is
alone.
serious enough.
You're not alone,
You're not
right?
alone. Like we are really coming to you. Like this is unscripted, as you can
No,
tell.
we got our do rag. Got my do rag
And
on,
my
and
hair's not
it's
brushed
a
or
little chilly
combed.
in here, so we
Right.
got blankets.
And I got my shirt on that say I'm classy, but I cuss a
And
little.
I'm trying to build political black power. So we just doing a whole lot. But we both are entrepreneurs. God's brand has a wonderful business where she does, I like to say, makeup artistry. She's an artist, and so she's got her business moving. And I also, work with herbs and plant-based medicine, and I teach. So in the middle of all of that, trying to succeed, trying to take care of your family, trying to raise your children. We've just got to try to make sure that we think about us and what it is we need so we can keep, making sure this machine continues to work, whether it's your family, your marriage, your job. So today, I think we just wanted to kind of check in and talk a little bit about some of the things that have made it easier for us, when we have dark days. What are some of the things that have been able to help you, God's Brad, in terms of when you're feeling low, you're feeling like you're just exhausted? What are some things that you've been able to do that might help anyone that happens to click on here and see this? What are some things that have helped you over the
Well,
last couple of months or years or whatever?
I am blessed that I don't have a I am a popular loner. But I am blessed to have a few true blue friends that in my time, sometimes they can tell, guys can tell from my hello that something's not right. Also, I've learned to not feel guilty about putting myself first.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us were taught that the kids come first, the husband comes first. No, I come first because and it's sort of like that mentality of if you're on a plane, put the mask on yourself 1st because you can't be any good to anyone else unless you take care and nurture yourself.
Right.
And when you feel yourself going down to that dark place or feel yourself just not being okay, acknowledge it and seek, know that it's okay to seek help.
Right. Right.
Don't feel I'm not embarrassed by the stigma of saying that I do have mental health. I'm a mental health counselor. Um, and I'm not embarrassed by acknowledging that sometimes I need help.
And that's a position of strength, to know when you need help. I know I grew up in a household that if my mother said I was selfish, that was the worst possible thing she could say to me. You were so selfish. You're so, and I always thought, well, no, I'm not selfish. I do this, that, and the other.
Right.
And now, as adults, it is time to be selfish sometimes when it comes to trying to take care of yourself, your needs. And we've just been through something that people have not experienced in hundreds of years. We just went through a pandemic,
Right.
A global pandemic. And if you are here right now to hear Godsbratt and I talk, that means you survived.
Amen.
That means,
how about that?
Right, congratulations, right?
Yes.
Because thousands of people have gone that did not live through COVID. And many of us lost family members, friends, co-workers. So, and many of us have survived COVID.
Right.
So we all have done something that is extraordinary.
And it's made us, at least for me, it's made me more grateful for life and the little things. Like I truly count my blessings and not my problems.
Right, right.
The little things matter. Like when they say take time and smell the roses, I literally do now.
Right, right.
Whereas before, some things was just going over my head.
Right. And so I think it's important to remember, because we get so tied up into surviving that, number one, you forget we lived through a global pandemic. Our bodies are still, if you've had it, trying to recover from that. It was called a novel virus for a reason. It was something that humans had never really experienced. So, for physical reasons and psychological reasons, we've all been through a lot, whether it's from the loss of loved ones, our own bodies dealing with a disease, and then having other issues we had to deal with. So, if you just sit back and look at what we've dealt with as a human race, that is extraordinary. That's a lot. So, what used to work for us 5 years ago might not work now. Right. Some of us no longer have spouses. Some of us no longer have grandmothers or moms or sisters or brothers because of what happened. So, if you were not getting any help, whether it's spiritual or with mental support, please get it now. Please take care of yourself when it comes to your medical and your mental health and your spiritual health, because our bodies and minds and spirits have gone through a lot. And so I think friendship is a big part of that. We had a talk today about how my grandmother was saying how their family all lived close together. They would cook together. They would go to school together, go to church together, and our family units aren't the same.
It used to be a big extended family and a sense of community, and
Right.
it really used to be the village raising the children. But then, as we became more well off,
successful, right? The definition,
right? We started moving out into the suburbs, and it was a sign of your status, but we lost something in the translation. We supposedly gained this financial position, but we lost that sense of community, support. Our children lost, like so many of our children now don't know their cousins,
right?
And things of that nature. We lost tradition. We lost, a lot of us lost being spiritually grounded. If we're real, some people darn near sell their souls for these positions. So, one thing that I'm going to say that is important to me is the fact that I'm spiritually grounded. Um, Before my feet hit the floor every morning, I say a prayer. I say affirmations. I meditate. And that can be different things to different people.
Right.
But whatever it takes to get you spiritually grounded is very, very important, at least to me.
It is because that's everything. I
Hmm.
mean, and right now, I mean, I think that considering what we've all gone through, people lost their jobs, people lost their homes. Remember, it wasn't that long ago when there was a moratorium on rent evictions.
Mm,
People,
yeah.
were losing their homes, and this is the aftermath where we're picking the pieces up, right? We
Right.
still have COVID, but now people aren't using the mask when they go out, even though it can happen again. People get immunizations, regardless of what you feel. Your kids had to get shots before. Didn't go to
Hmm.
school without a shot.
Right.
So we don't even have to make it political. But the point is, now things are different. So
Hmm.
what I would like for people to do, if they don't get anything else other than us sitting here chilling, having this conversation, is we've got to have community. We've got
Yes.
to look out for each other. Think about people who you might not hear from, just to give them a call, see how they're doing. We've got to have community, like you said. We've got to take care of ourselves. We've got to think
Hmm.
about mind, body, and spirit. What is it that I need in those areas? And ask for help.
And then also, something else is that we have to grant, first of all, ourselves the same grace and mercy that we grant to others. And then we also have to grant others grace and mercy. Instead of sitting back saying, well, so and so hasn't called me, or, I'm always the one to call, you never know what the next person is going through. Because I know for a fact, like, I'm a person, I will disappear when I'm going through. I'm just learning. My sister girlfriends have been getting on me because I disappear when I go through. And they're like, no, reach out or allow us to be for you what you are to so many others. But if you haven't heard from a friend in a while, pick up the phone, call, text, because sometimes people don't know that they matter to anyone. And not to put a negative out there, but it is prevalent in our community. And I've spoken to someone recently that I never would have thought I'd heard these words from, but a lot of people are sitting there alone and going through and considering suicide. You could be the one person that shows somebody that they matter in this world, instead of sitting back saying, well, she ain't called me, I ain't called her, I'm always the one to call. Let's stop that. That's stinking thinking. If God puts it in your spirit to contact somebody, contact them. Don't question it. Just do it.
Right. And the thing is, I mean, and we hear about this if you grew up in the church, or you may not have, but tomorrow the sun's gonna come up tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a better day.
Mm.
It could be the most darkest day that you think it is on Wednesday. And if you could just make it to Thursday, you'll wake up with a whole new view on life. And I've had bad days where I might be working a lot or have a project that takes me over where I miss a holiday and I'm working the whole time, don't get to enjoy myself with my family. But the next day, I mean, in some of my darkest days, this past week, I've been dealing with some things, and Wanda and I, Godsbratt, have been talking about that. Everybody goes through something. It may look like on social media that they are $1 million winners all the time.
Mhm.
That's social media.
Right.
That is not what they're really dealing with sometimes. They have bad days and they have good days.
Mhm.
So, what I would like for you to do is if you're there, be the one that reaches out. If you need help, ask for help.
Mhm.
But just do your best to make it to the next day.
Amen.
Somebody needs to hear that if you can just hold on until the next day to 12:01,
Trouble don't last
it
always.
doesn't. And the next day may be the day where your blessing comes. It may be the day when you get the raise. It may be the day when your wife decides to call you and come back home.
Mhm.
It may be that day the kid that you haven't been able to contact or you haven't been able to get along with calls you or comes by to see you. Just make it to the next day. Because
And
we're here for a reason. God's given us a call and it's something that we're here for. So just do that. You
and it
know.
always seems like you go through the most hell and turmoil right before the
Yes.
blessing comes.
Mhm.
Right before the blessing comes, it just seems like I can't take any more. And like Purple Quartz Awakening said, if you just hold on, that next day all of a sudden
It seems better.
it's brighter, it's better.
Your head doesn't hurt anymore. Your
Right.
back doesn't hurt anymore. Your toothache that stopped it and just stopped hurting. It could
Mm.
be
It could be anything.
sometimes that one little thing is the one little thing, the straw that breaks the camel's back, right?
Right.
You got to take it. It's gonna be all right. So I just hope that and I'm sure if you had a couple more things you want to say, but we could talk all night about this.
Yeah, oh my goodness, this is a conversation that could go on and on and on. But we really just wanted to come on and just show sisterhood. Like this is impromptu. Like we are not
No
dressed,
makeup
no
on. I
makeup.
got my do
And
rag.
but one thing I did want to say too, and I want you guys to hear me because we were talking about social media, and I'm just gonna say in life, period. Never wish upon somebody else's life what they portray themselves to be, what they portray themselves to have, and especially on social media, because they will have you feeling less than, and what they're presenting to you is a facade, and you're trying to live up to some impossible reality that they aren't living themselves. So that just really hit my spirit all of a sudden. So that's meant for somebody. Don't try to live up to somebody else's standard of life or standard of what they think your life is supposed to be. When you sit down and you pray and God speaks to you, everybody is not going to understand your assignment. And they're not supposed to because it's not their assignment. So whatever you and God come up with as the assignment and the purpose of your life, go with that and be your authentic self. Be real with yourself, with God, and with other people. And when you're your most authentic self, that's when your blessings flow. I don't know who that was meant for. See, that's when you know the enemy is at work. That was meant, yeah, that's meant for somebody.
Amen.
That is meant for somebody.
Amen.
So, Dr. Nikki, I'm sorry, Purple Quartz Awaken.
No, that's fine. But no, I'm just glad we took this time to talk to you all, and you got to see how we look at. I think this might be 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure.
Right,
But
exactly.
it need to be said. I'm glad that we got to spend some time together, and we just want to say be blessed, and we love you.
We love you. Peace and blessings, and we're out.
Good night.
Good night.